People who are thinking about or have already begun to study the guitar love to ask this question: how much music theory do I need? How much practice time do I need? How much technique does it take? How much of this style or that style? The true answer to questions like these are probably not answers that people that ask them want to hear, because you're kind of looking for a shortcut. You're looking for easy mode. But the answer that you get depends on who you ask. The answers are defined by personal agendas. And that's not nefarious, it's just covert. It's not very obvious. And people that ask this question are easy prey. The answer to this question is no different than if you've ever thought about the question, what's the meaning of life? You know, the main thing you might need to do in your life is to just survive. And if that's taken care of, then right after that, I'd say that's your job to figure out the meaning of life. That's literally what your life is about. If you want to start a journey with the guitar, or if you want to go further on your journey with the guitar, how much of what you need is exactly your job to find out. And no one can tell you the answer. It doesn't mean that you won't benefit from advice. It doesn't mean that people cannot help you. It doesn't mean that you don't need tools. Things like books, a course, degrees, learning techniques. But all of these things need to play their role. And their role is for you to try them, experiment, spend time, participate in what is probably going to be a large amount of trial and error, because that's just how it goes, and find out how much you need. Music is its own language. And as you learn some theory, as you learn some technique, as you develop a practice schedule, what types of things get you in touch with the language, so that where you used to see something arbitrary and kind of a bunch of things lined up one next to the other, now you see a pattern. Now you see a flow. Now you could describe it differently in words. Those types of things you gravitate towards because you have a natural affinity for these things to help you understand some of the ways that music works. And along the way, you fill in the gaps, you fill in your weaknesses. Even if someone could say you need this amount of that and this amount of this, it would totally rob you of the whole point of your existence as a musician, because your job is the same as anyone else's, is to figure these things out.